buddy. A couple more videos.
Can't forget that disclaimer.
Excuse me. Yep, you're right. And for some reason, I did not have our new video up here yet. Not our video, but.
Ah, there it is. We love our Area 51.
Well, I was actually trying to queue up the song that we wanted to play, but didn't get it up in time. So that is all my fault. We can play it here in a second, but we can get started first. Sorry.
Hey, Dean. How you doing, sugar?
How's it going, Dean?
Thanks for joining us.
Yep, we're going to be talking about, I guess, real war versus the wars we're going through now, just here in America. It's always my fault. Yep, Dean, you're right. It is always my fault.
Oh, it's not always his fault. Sometimes it's my fault.
That's okay. I'll take the blame. So
it's okay. I had to pick up watermelons today, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had 3 cartons of watermelons. I mean, big cartons of watermelons that ripped open, and I had watermelons rolling all over the back end of the trailer.
My watermelons did not do too good today or this year. My first time trying. So we'll see how they go next year. My garden is pretty much dead except for my peppers. So at least I've got a garden.
There's a lot of gardens that's just about dead this year already.
Mine got fried. That's not the first year it's happened. Only the peppers live, it seems like. So
yep.
Here is the song that is a remix of the Oliver Anthony song, Rich Men North of Richmond. And this is by a guy named Dax, which I guess now he is part of the subgenre MAGA rap.
Yeah.
So I really like a lot of his songs, but let's go ahead and roll his new version remake.
Yep.
I can't get anything right today.
And you're right, Dean. We're doing the watermelon pickup.
Yeah, I had to fight weeds for mine, and fungus. So here we go.
It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is. Living in the new world. With an whole soul.
Every time. Did it black out?
No, it didn't black out. It's lagging a little bit.
Oh, it shows mine blacked out. Okay.
I can still see it.
With an whole soul. The rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just want to have total control.
This world has changed and I had to accept it. They ask my political views while I search for their hidden agendas. I don't got an answer, I try to remember the devil divides. Pressure appears from our peers. Those arguments waste our time while helping to push their lies, so fuck political views. I got common sense. I know God made man, and the sun sets on a life where we focus on things that we cannot control and accumulate so much regret. By the time we decide to live, we're practically already dead. So I go to sleep with the thoughts of 45 years living in debt. 45 years can't pay rent. 45 years just for a pension. I'm too old to enjoy and go spend. 45 years working and slaving for rich men with no time for my family and friends. Then I'll wake up and pray that it ends.
Living in the new world. with an whole soul. The rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control.
Descendants of Adam and Eve, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. They're taking God out the schools. Our kids don't know what to believe. From 6 to 18, the curriculum fails and Gen Z gets taught by their phones with forced feeds that get sponsored and paid by companies. That's how they attack us. It starts with the youth. If you lie enough, you'll convince anybody the lie's the truth. So telling these kids they can choose their own gender at ages they can't even tie their own shoes. Drive or drink is crazy. Common sense isn't common unless it pays me. That's the thought process daily. Look at the content. We're creating lies, diluting our brains. I'm done trying to argue online with these people who think that a vote's gonna bring about change. How many presidents does it take to have a life worth living? An actual comfortable wage. No more school shootings. Let's unite these states.
It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to. For people like me, and people like you, wish I could just wake up and it not be true. But it is, oh it is, living in the new world. With an whole soul. These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just want to have total control.
I tell you what, I really like that song, and I really like the way Dax put his touch on it. I really do.
Oh yeah, I really do too. And I was watching some reviews about that song without Dax in it, and they were like, "This could be a unifying song if more people would sing songs like this." And I'm kind of thinking, maybe y'all need to listen to more people like this, because there's a lot of songs like this. And this was a father-son couple I was watching review this song. And the first song country song they reviewed was Jason Aldean. You know, try that in a small town. Well, the son goes in there looking for it to be racist as heck. In fact, them talking about lynching at that Capitol building, the son thought that Jason Aldean actually lynched somebody at that Capitol building.
No.
And then when they reviewed the original Richmond North of Richmond, they came back and the son actually apologized for how he was feeling on that show, just looking for racism, because his dad was like, I could see how somebody could think it's racist, but I didn't see any racism in it personally. You know, and
I didn't see any racism in it at all.
I didn't either. But this guy's also, when he first listened to it's wearing a BLM shirt. The dad is. You know, and the dad's like, if this song's so racist, then why are we even listening to it? You know, and then he come back and he was like, I don't see anything personally racist against that song. I see it as you don't try that in a small town, no matter what color you are. And then,
you don't.
He listened to the Dax version of Richmond North of Richmond, and he's like, well, I wasn't sure exactly where they were talking about, and y'all blew up our comments talking about DC. And then when Dax redid the song, they were like, oh, man, this is great. This is wonderful. You know, this is how we need to get – this could bring people together of all kinds, you know.
Yep.
Well, Lily's out here dancing again. There's no –
I saw that. Hello, Lily. Hello, Clem.
Hi.
Love our live studio audience.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And hey, Ruth, there was a song on there, so sorry I didn't say hey to you in the middle of it, but
oh, mercy. Well, you know, today, you know, I was been watching this series on Netflix called The 100, and if anybody has watched it or haven't watched it, please watch it. It's a pretty good show.
Oh, we were talking about that the other night. I still haven't watched it.
Well, you're not going to watch it all in one night. It's like 9 or 10 seasons. It's like 15 to 17 episodes. And, you know, you're not going to watch it in one day. I promise you. But, you know, it'll make you think. It'll make you think the long time. What are the crimes of humanity?
I mean, looking on here, a lot of times I see a lot of You know, Ruth says it's on the net. So,
Yep.
have you seen it, Ruth?
Well, I'm going to tell you, if you hadn't watched it, I mean, it's well worth it. I think it is anyway. But one thing that they put on there that, let's see if I can find it.
Oh, she's asking, is it on the net? I'm sorry.
Yes, it's on the net. It's on Netflix. But you know, they had this one saying on there. That war is the failure of humanity. And you say down there at the end, it's okay. Come on, Chad, read it for me.
You want me to read it? I can't even read
Yeah.
it, or it is right tonight. So, every war is a failure of empathy, a triumph of dehumanization. We cannot identify with our enemies, or we cannot identify with our enemies. He, and increasingly she, is barbaric, an animal, savage. They rape, pillage, torture, brainwash even their kids. We, the techno wizards of the centuries, would never stop that low. Every war represents a failure of our species to free itself from the shackles of expansionism, greed, colonization, exploration, ignorance, and violence. Every war is a failure of humanity. There are no good wars, but there are abundance of bad peace treaties that should surprise. Guessing that's no one.
Yeah, that was just a screenshot I did. But, you know, you got to look at it, folks. I mean,
hey, Joanne.
Greed, ignorance, violence. I mean, you can see what's going on in our world today.
Oh, yeah. And just an example of how greed and stuff takes over our world. My son is out here, just came out here to argue with my daughter because he looked something up and it says McDonald's is the number one food brand or is the best food brand in the world.
I will have to disagree with that one, but, you know, once
too.
upon a time, I would have agreed with him on it, but not today.
No, I don't think I have in quite a while. Not with, well, maybe now because their food's too expensive now too. So,
well, yeah, it's all the pay raises they did.
Oh yeah, that's gotta be it.
But what are the crimes of humanity nowadays?
Some of them I would see as the way they're indoctrinating kids in school in a lot of places. I would say I guess you would say part of it would be the dehumanization of people to where, you know, people don't think anything if they go out, or a lot of people don't think anything whenever they go out and kill somebody or, you know, do something bad. Yeah, Joanne, I definitely say the media feeds the flames of all these crimes against humanity. So, I mean, one of those videos I was talking about, I'm trying to remember what he said in it, but he was talking about you don't have to, it's not the, how did he word it? He was pretty much talking about you don't have to be religious to be moral. The Bible or, you know, the scriptures might teach you morality, but a lot of it's human morality that you should already know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a basic right and wrong thing.
Yeah, you don't have a right to be, it's not a requirement to be moral, but should be already known in a sense. They shouldn't have to have crimes out about it, is kind of what he was saying.
We have become so desensitized toward moral values in our society that our ignorance is just so blatant.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, well,
as human beings.
this was a couple of scenes I was seeing from, I guess there's a lady that got hit in the head with a brick, and she's definitely a man hater, especially a black man hater. And she has videos to where she's walking up. She goes around starting to try to fight, starting to start crap. Like there's videos that she had where she's walking up the sidewalk and just randomly smacks a white man just to try to get him to hit her, and smacking all kinds of people. And I guess she ended up getting hit in the head by a brick with a man. And she tried to say it was all because he didn't want her phone, or she wouldn't give him her phone number. Well, she's standing around. Why didn't any of y'all help me? Why didn't nobody help me? All you black men are worthless. And it's kind of like, then, you know, people are kind of like, yeah, we've seen your videos. You're the one out here starting trouble. I'm not putting myself at risk because you're out here looking for trouble. If somebody's in trouble, I'm willing to help them, but you're out here looking for it. And there was an interview with one of the alleged witnesses of it, and he was saying that she come out here talking. She was trying to get him to hit her, like doing her best. And then, of course, it was all the man's fault again. So I think that's actually a crime against humanity too, is like trying to make it to where men and women are equal on all levels, and then also trying to go and take away.
But I will have to say, we are not equal on all levels. I promise you. I'm a tomboy. I am a female. I'm an alpha female. I don't want to be a male. I'm just putting that out there because, you know, people never know. You know, everybody said, what's your pronouns? I mean, I got called a cisgen, and I was like, what the hell is a cisgen? I've never heard of that.
Pretty much that's a heterosexual that identifies by the birth-given pronouns.
Well, that I guess that would be me. Yeah.
Because you can't say normal person anymore.
Because we don't have normal.
Yeah, we don't have normal anymore.
We have so many people that are so busy trying to get one over on somebody else, or trying to suppress somebody into submission.
And I guess in a way that's kind of how, like that's another, I won't say war on humanity, but it is in a sense, is all the Green New Deal stuff and everything that they are trying to come out with. Because, I mean, they're pretty much trying to say we need less people, so we need to kill off more people. And I guess
that's what the Georgia Guidestones said.
Well, I was going to say something like how third world countries don't do that, but I guess China and ones that are considered third world countries, according to the Green New Deal and stuff, that's why China and India can pollute all they want. And they're the ones landing ships on the moon right now. But you don't see that being a problem as much in those countries with worrying about if you're a biological male or female.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess that's kind of a first world country type thing, to where you're actually worried about if somebody, I mean, you know, 10 or 15 years ago, and you were kind of saying, okay, well, live how you want to live, but I didn't have to worry about books being in my school about it, you know.
Well, that's another thing. I mean, that's part of the psychological warfare, especially against our children.
I agree.
I mean, it's you submit and you get confused about your gender, and you take these drugs to pretty much make you sterile for the rest of your life.
I mean,
but you don't have to tell your parents about it. It's the deception part. Remember, in that little paragraph, it said the deception.
Oh yeah. I mean, well, we got something sent home from the school for asking whether or not it's okay to give them a bi-yearly physical, I guess, to see how much they weigh, see how tall they are, you know.
Or if there's also one if you want to allow them to check out library books.
Well, Kim just told me there's also one to allow them to check out library books. So,
I would be monitoring the library books there.
yeah. I didn't know about that one until she just said that, but maybe that's, I wonder if that's certain kind
That's
of
part
library
of
books.
it.
No, if you click it, then they can't check out any library books.
Okay.
You check it and sign it.
Okay, well, if you can opt out of them getting books out of the library completely, pretty much. Now, I don't know. I haven't heard anything about any kind of bad library.
And that's a crying shame.
It is. Ruth, to
And
be honest
I
with
agree.
you,
I agree, Ruth. It is weird for them
I'll
to be
go-
doing physicals.
No, I'll tell you the truth. We did that every year too. I mean,
Well,
we had,
with the new lockdowns that's fixing to hit us, I'm just going to tell you, folks, get ready.
yeah, I agree. I don't.
I think that is also one of the biggest crimes against humanity right there, is when a government turns on its own people
I totally agree on that. The lockdown
based on their skin color and their political affiliation and their gender,
I mean,
their age. They discriminate against it.
That was a way to put everybody. I think that the lockdowns were, for one, I think the lockdowns and the vaccine, for one, was just to see how
Submissive we were.
submissive we were, and then how much fear you had to add to that.
It was their Overton window to see how far they could push us before we would start pushing back.
Right. And then you also had states pushing back, which was demonized, like Florida. And Texas didn't. Texas started to push back, but it still wasn't like Florida did, because Florida, I'd give full credit to Florida on the way they pushed back, or the way DeSantis pushed back on that. And some people hate DeSantis. I would not want him as a president, but I do like him as a governor. But
Well, DeSantis did what was best for his Florida economy.
oh yeah, and then once again, you could say that's about greed or anything else, but yeah. Then you had Whitmore, who ticketed businesses that wouldn't shut down. Church locked up, everything else, but then it was okay to have.
You had hair salons that were getting fined for not shutting down.
And then you had what's her name, Beetlejuice. During the time, one of the places she was caught outside was getting her hair done.
Yeah. And look, let's not mention she got all that nice little work done while she was in that lockdown.
And then they wanted to get somebody.
Now, Miss Ruth, we had to have those liquor stores so everybody could be lethargic.
Our bars did shut down here.
And we needed to have the liquor stores so we could get the hand sanitizer.
Oh yes,
we dispensaries,
not for me. But we did have bars
absolutely.
shut down. That's how we got drive-through drinks here now, to where you can go and get a drive-through margarita and stuff.
Damn, I'm moving to Florida.
What does she mean? Okay. Weddings?
Weed.
Oh, weed. Okay, I see it down there now. Liquor stores stayed open. I think by the time weed stores, pretty much all the stores stayed open here. It was restaurants started to close.
But you had to play with all the other goofy stuff. And then, it was finally like, you know what? Forget it. No more mask.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the masks. stuff was still supposed to be enforced here, but there was nobody enforcing it. So, I mean, it was kind of like, weed out on Bourbon Street or showing your boobies on Bourbon Street or something. So it was like nobody was enforcing it, So, I mean, and then it was like, oh, all these people are still willing to come to these events. They're still open, and it was like, hey, kind of like how they were saying the riots and stuff was okay because it was outside. So Florida
churches were shut down.
What's that?
I said the churches were shut down.
Our churches didn't stay shut down very long at all. So,
well, a lot of churches were penalized big time.
Yeah.
Pastors went to jail. People in the church went to jail.
I remember that
just because they went to church.
And I mean, part of it here was like, hey, that's up to you. If you want to go to church because it's you, and church is a family thing. So,
it's a spiritual thing.
Well, they were saying, like, as far as stuff goes, your whole family is going to catch COVID. So it's not you being a super spreader or anything else. A lot of them just held it outdoors,
Yep.
I mean, it was okay.
I know churches who actually the pastor got a PA system and put it outside, and people went in their cars.
Yeah, they had a lot of churches doing that. It was like the drive-up church and that was mostly in states that were, or areas that were cracked down on it so hard.
Yeah.
So, I mean, here, we really didn't have any, Walmart, they were like, hey, can you please wear a mask? And if you were like, F off, they really couldn't do anything. And it was like, hey, we don't get paid enough to enforce this stuff.
Unless you work for Walmart. By God, I'm going to tell you, we called hell. They're already ramping up for it. Phase 2.
Oh, I mean, well, a lot of places were like that if you worked there. And then that's when a lot of places just went to, okay, we're going full remote. We don't have time for all this stuff. And
little yellow arrows all going one way down an aisle. Heaven forbid if you went the wrong way against an arrow. Oh my God, it was a sacrilege. It's like going down a one-way street.
Nobody paid attention to those arrows.
Oh, they.
Well, Dean saying, but Walmart and Target opened early for the elderly and stayed opened all day with no limits of people in the building. When ours first started, we had limits of people in the building.
Now we had certain times that the older people could go, which was early in the morning.
Yeah.
And then, the younger people, but then they closed at like 7 or 8 o'clock at night.
Yep. Ours still don't.
Unless you were doing pickup groceries, then you had till 10 o'clock that night.
Yeah, Ruth says, she got in trouble by the customers. I don't think the customers really cared here. I think it was just kind of like maybe more of a.
It's the mentality and the mindset.
That's what I was just about to say. I mean, maybe it was I was going to say Florida mentality, but I did hear about places that people would get mad at you for doing that and everything else. So, I guess it depended on where you lived in, because here masks were not a thing hardly at all. I mean, it wasn't a.
And let's look at another aspect of it. Our children in schools, they didn't get to go to schools. They did virtual reality schools.
Oh, those were horrible too, and that was something that
and children need that interaction with other children.
They do.
I mean, it really messes with a kid's psyche.
Yeah.
And they wonder why there's so many mental issues. Isolation is not a good thing for a human.
That is my problem with homeschooling. And I don't want to say I'd rather homeschool my kids, but that is my problem with homeschooling. So,
well, it's all right if you have other like-minded people who are also homeschooling, where you could go and do events together where the children can interact with each other.
And VA or VA.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're right, Miss Ruth. Let's not forget the election infection.
Oh, that was Dean's first. Dean, I'll give credit to Dean. He put that up there first. But yeah, I guess it's got another round coming now. So.
Oh, well, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
I don't know if I'm hoping people don't buy into it as much now with everything that's come out about the mask.
I really think people are starting to wake up because, what we are being proven that our conspiracy theories are conspiracy fact.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, some of these states that were so deep into COVID are now finding out all the other problems that, say, people like Trump were blocking from California and stuff like that. And now they're like, well, we'll just pass our own laws. And then it's like people talking about San Francisco and LA with their drug policies. Washington, oh, my goodness, with their drug policies. Oregon. Yeah, Oregon's that's the one I was really thinking
they're about to lose 12 of their county seats to another state, Idaho.
Yeah. And it's because you can't tell me all this stuff doesn't snap into place and you can keep on blaming the other party or other people for a lot of this stuff. You can't tell me that you can blame. And I mean, that's part of the problem with our crisis against humanity now is these people still, they come up with an idea for everything.
Hey, Joe, how you doing? Hey, and you're right, Dean. You are absolutely right.
Yeah. And now they just eliminate you, Hillary style, if you say anything.
Oh, yeah. We need to talk about that one eventually one day. Where the body count starts. And where it might end. It's still accumulating from what I can see.
Right. Well, trafficking, like we were talking about, would be one. And I was thinking we should play that trucker video.
Yes, we absolutely need to play that one.
Because I know
this is about something that you are not hearing about on the news. It needs to be covered. So we're bringing it up. And we'd like to thank Mother Trucker for doing the interview with this truck driver who saw something, got that feeling, and immediately said something, went into action to stop a great atrocity, and rescued pretty much a pickup truck load of children.
Sorry. Yeah, and this guy's name is Trucker Mike. That is the guy he's interviewing.
Yep. If you do YouTube, go over to Trucker Mike, like, share, subscribe, and while you're there, hit us up too. We need some love. We need some love over there.
Yeah, we need some love too. Give us some love. All right, here we go.
We have a really special guest on the podcast today. The other day I talked about how a truck driver got the award as a highway angel from the TCA. And people were like, I didn't hear about this story. And the truth is, it actually happened, it looks like a few months ago, and they kept it under wraps because they wanted to make sure that the truck driver was okay. Now, from that's why they have released this story now. The truck driver actually reached out to me and wanted to be on the show. I asked him if it was okay, and he actually said that he wanted to make awareness of this, and he does not live in fear. And he actually created a YouTube channel to talk about this awareness. And so make sure you guys follow him at Trucking with Mike. 100% did not do this for the clout. He did this because he wanted to spread awareness, and, can't believe he saved the lives of 15 children. 15. Let's get into today's podcast.
All right, guys. So if you're wondering why there's flashing lights in front of me right now or what's going on, I parked at a rest area. I'm in New Mexico. I was going to lay down and take a nap. This guy and this girl pull up in this pickup truck. Okay. and they got. I don't know if you can see the pickup truck with the flashing lights. Kind of hard. So this is a real serious thing. Um, I'm just doing my due diligence. I'm a father, okay, and so what happened was they opened up the back of this cage, this padlock type thing. Hold on, I'll be back. The cops call.
Yo, what's going on, man?
Man, looking
bad.
good with that beard, bro.
Yeah, it's getting out there.
It's getting out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I just want to say I really appreciate you, brother.
Absolutely, bro. I mean,
That was so crazy. Like for people that are going to be watching this show when we upload it today, it's one of those things where there were people like, Alex, why are you lying? I can't see an article about this or news. And I thought about that. I go, nothing against anybody, but when there's something small that happens, I mean, it hits the main street media. I mean, Fox, CNN. I'm talking about everybody's talking about it.
Right.
We're talking about a situation with kids. We're talking about cages, and there's no media talking about this besides the TCA. Luckily, they picked up the story. We don't want to give up too much information about your background and things like that. Just to keep you safe and where you live and stuff like that. But
that's why. Okay, so when it happened and I pulled and we caught up to him, the police, after they spoke to me, they told me to leave the scene immediately. And the reason why it hasn't been blasted all over, the news and stuff like that when it did happen was because of, we didn't know if there was an organization watching what was going on.
I know what you're saying already.
You know what I mean? So that's why there was very limited information. So when Highway Angel got involved, my job, JCT, they put me in. They nominated me for it, and I didn't hear anything for a while. I didn't know what a Highway Angel was, And then next thing you know, I'm getting phone calls like, "Hey, you won the award," and I'm like, "Okay, all right. I don't know what I won, but okay." And then I started doing some research. I found out how great the TCA, organization is, and all
that's cool, man. I now in the comments, people were saying a little bit that like people are worried about this man's life, but then now he's on video and they got a picture of him. They got his first name. I mean, are you okay with being on video? Honestly, I know
Yeah, I'm not worried about none. No. Yeah, I mean, the way life is, man. When I look, a little of my backstory. I was kidnapped when I was 4 years old. So
no way.
The way life is like full circle. You know what I'm saying? So,
man, we don't even got to talk about that. But that's
I lost my mother when I was 4. We were kidnapped. They murdered my mother in front of me, and then you know what I'm saying. So for me to be able to prevent, kids being whatever, because like when this happened, every inkling in my body was telling me, something's wrong with the situation. And then to see kids, now mind you, it's about 1-2 o'clock in the morning. It's about 98 degrees outside. And you got kids in the back of a cage with a tarp and a padlock. Something ain't right, So when I seen that, I just kind of went with all the stuff as drivers, we've been trained to do. Maybe, a lot of the little training, modules that, companies give, like Truckers Against Trafficking and stuff like that. A lot of drivers, they do it because it's required, but they don't really pay attention. And it's weird because even though you don't pay attention to everything, but when a situation like that happens, that training, it clicks, like it just, everything you've ever been taught just comes full circle, So, yeah, I mean, I did what I could, Glad the kids were safe. this happened the night of Father's Day. It was like Father's Day night. So for me, for that to happen on that day was crazy. No, I mean, I just, I'm honored. Thank you for all the nice words. Of course, there's a couple trolls out there, but that comes with everything. And JCT and Hirschbach, because I was emotionally distraught after. When I left the scene, I went to the next rest area in the next state, and I pulled over, and I just had a mental breakdown. So because I got little ones of my own. I got a 3-year-old, I got a 5-year-old, I have a 1-year-old granddaughter, and I got a
1-year-old granddaughter. Man, you look like you 21 years old.
Man,
we gotta leave that one alone. In the article it said that you thought you saw like 3 or 4 kids, and then they didn't really give a number, but was it more than 10? Because they made it sound like it was like a lot.
Yeah, it was about 15, I would say. Yeah, because like there was kids. So that cage, I don't know if you went to my YouTube channel, because I do YouTube for JCT, and in the video I actually catch a picture of the truck. So the truck, it was a Toyota Tacoma, and I've never seen it. It had like off-roading tires. It was really weird. And every time they hit the brake, they had like the flickering like brake lights, and that's what really caught my attention. Then when they raised the tarp and they opened, the lady came out and took the padlock off. I'm thinking she got like some kind of animal back there or something. And she brings out 3 or 4 kids, and she forces them into the bathroom. And then this guy that was in the truck with her, 98 degrees, they're comfortably inside the cab, and all these kids are in the back. So I pretended like I was throwing something away, grabbed something out the trash, and walked in front of their truck because I couldn't see their because like they spray painted their it looked like they spray painted their license plate. And I throw something in the trash, and as I'm on the phone with the dispatcher with my headset on, I turn and look, and I'm reading off their plate to the dispatcher. And then I put my phone on like a magnet on like the magnetic things on the dashboard, and my backlight came on, and they saw it. And when they saw that, they took off. So my first instinct was, they were trying to get people out. They were trying to get the cops out there, but it's so scattered out there that there was nothing around. So I follow. At this point, my adrenaline's pumping, and I got really good eyes, and I do mostly night driving anyway. So I'm looking down the highway, 2 or 3 miles down the highway, giving out mile markers, looking at my GPS at the same time, trying to keep track of exactly where we are. And sure enough, trooper turned around the highway, came from the other side and pulled them over. And it was like a movie scene after that, man. I mean, when I said the cops came out of everywhere, I mean, literally, they were coming out of the middle of the desert. Like,
how many cops came out, you think?
Man, the whole highway was shut down. Like, I was surrounded. It was nuts.
Man, that's crazy.
And I stayed about a good 50 to 100 feet back because they had them at gunpoint and all that stuff like that. So,
man, it's just crazy, bro. I mean,
yeah,
it
was nuts that night, man. But like I said, man, it was about the kids. It was about saving them kids. When I saw the little girl that they pulled out, it was weird, man, the way things happened, because it was like me and her locked eyes. And I remember seeing her come out, and all I saw was my daughter, man. That's all I saw, and it tore me apart. So, but
I'm telling you, man,
kids are safe. I'm glad I could do something, to make this world a better place, at least somewhat, I'm just doing my job, man.
I think that's beautiful. No, we appreciate you, man. No, thank you for this interview.
Absolutely, bro. I appreciate you for. I was in the hospital last night with my 5-year-old, and a buddy of mine that follows you, he sends me a screenshot. He's like, "Hey, you're famous now." And I'm like, "There's no way." I'm like, "There's no way he put me." Mother trucker got me on his channel. I was like, "You crazy?" Yeah, man. So, it's crazy. It's such a small world, you know.
We got to give a shout out to Mother Trucker for putting this content together, and he doesn't mind us sharing it because every time we share it, he gets big kudos. Thank you, Just Me, for becoming a subscriber, and welcome to the channel. We appreciate you.
I think that's somebody we might already know.
Trucking with Mike.
Yeah,
you know,
that's just an amazing story all the way around.
Go over and hit him up. There were actually either 4 or 5 kids that had been abducted from here in the United States. They were U.S. citizens. They were abducted from their homes. So it's not just these children that are coming across the border that are involved. It's our children as well.
Well, I mean, let me see.
And I say our children because most of the truck drivers out here are parents and grandparents.
I could totally believe that.
And we're going to have to be eyes open and seeing what's going on.
Well, here's one that I saw, and I can't remember if I saw it. It was on a crime show. No surprise. But I think it was actually one of these that's like a weird arrest. And there was this adopted kid. I think she was adopted. I'm almost 90% she was adopted. But she was playing video games, and she went and told her mom that her stepdad or that her dad was molesting her at like age 4 through 7. Yeah. And then she was playing video games and told this guy online that she thought was her age that her dad was molesting her. Well, the guy that she's talking to turns out to be an adult, says next time he does it, take a video. So she did. Then this guy comes down from like Tennessee, and they live in like Oklahoma or something like that. They come down. This guy comes down and takes her, saying he's taking her away from all that. And then he starts sexually molesting her. So they ended up charging both of them with, you know, something that I hope they put them in Gen Pop with.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Joanne got it right there.
Yeah.
It's all about the sex trade.
Yes, I agree. And then
we have to protect our children. Our children right now in a lot of schools are being conditioned for pedophiles to take advantage of.
Well,
and I have gay family members. I have lesbian gay family members. I know trans people who are friends. I'm going to tell you right now, the pedophiles are taking full advantage of the LGBTQ.
Most definitely.
And look, if you're a woman, I'm just going to talk to you right now. If you are in the bathroom and you see somebody dressed like a woman with a full beard, start raising hell. Run their asses out. I've done it twice.
Yes.
Because all they are is pedophiles in drag trying to win the shot for their next victims. They're getting a jolly off of it. You need to put a stop to it. Don't be afraid to.
And a lot of those people are so brainwashed, they think that they're helping.
Yeah.
They're so brainwashed. Well, your parents are telling you this. Your parents don't get to decide what your life's going to be like. You know. And
we have schools like California that, you know, will take a child away from the parent.
Yeah.
If they don't support the agenda.
Child abuse if you don't call your child by their, or if you restrict them from getting, they say it's child abuse because you're restricting them against getting medical care because you don't want them to give your kids life-altering drugs, the same drugs they give to pedophiles in prison to castrate them.
Yeah.
Through chemical
The
castration.
chemical castration. You know, let's just say it as it is. These are crimes against humanity, people. These are our children. These are our
And-
future.
Just like that video I played at the beginning of the show, talking about they're not even old with Dak saying they're not even old enough to tie their shoes, and you're telling them they can choose their gender. You know,
I don't get it. Why are they trying to destroy our society?
why are they? That is, I mean,
You know, why are we in a war that supports neo-Nazism,
well, I think
genocide?
I've heard different things about that too, because evidently some people on an overpass in Florida went and hung up a bunch of Nazi stuff on an overpass. And now of course, you're getting the stuff back saying, oh, look at all these Nazis in Florida. And then you're getting the stuff back. Well, it was probably Antifa or government aided, I guess you'd say, undercover government aided.
Don't fall for the propaganda, people.
You know what? I don't see
Don't
that much
fall
about
for
it
it.
here in Florida, though. A lot of this stuff where you hear bad about Florida, they don't even put it on the news here in Florida. I mean, they don't even, and so there's a reason why you don't hear it on the news on even these most liberal stations, or even on these most liberal news stations. It only lasts for one day and then just keeps going on.
Yep.
You know,
And you're right, just me. It's you can change your gender at any age now, but you have to be 18 to get a tattoo.
I mean, look at all the stuff. You have to be 18 to get now you have to be 21 to buy cigarettes, or even be in possession of them.
Or get alcohol.
Enlist, vote, you know, and now Vivek's getting a lot of pushback because he's saying to raise the voting age to 21, you know, and
that can't be such a bad idea.
I don't think it's a bad idea, but I still think that it's kind of hypocritic to say that you can go into the military at 18, but you can't. That's my biggest problem with any of this stuff with ages being raised is you can go into the military at 18, but you can't carry a firearm legal, or you can't buy a firearm legally. You can't drink. You can't, you wouldn't be able to vote. On the other hand, the other thing I see wrong with that is how if you're 16 or 17, you can get charged as an adult with crimes, which I actually do agree with. But now I see these kids, well, in a lot of states, including Florida, no matter what you do, if you don't get charged as an adult, they pretty much let you go. They don't even take you to juvenile or anything anymore. They're like, call your parents to come pick you up. You just stole a car. You've got meth or crack or whatever else on you, but we're just calling your parents to come pick you up. You just went and wrecked 4 cars on your police chase you just went on.
Now,
So
it's all right to lay down your life and die for your country, but you know you can't have the rights of other adults.
yeah, so
it's
And I
that
understand.
double-edged sword there.
and you know, speaking of or talking about Ruth saying, yeah, Mike went to Vietnam and got back and couldn't legally drink. And also just me saying the military will never change. They know that human brain isn't fully developed until they're 25. So you got to be 18 to 25 to join. So that's another thing is I think when going in the military kind of evolves your brain into a different setting of mind. So
Well, that's when you, at that point in time, from what I understand in all my studies, is that during that time from high school to 25, 18 to 25, you are still programmable.
yes,
And that's what boot camp is. They tear you down. So when they say jump, you say go, and you're
that's what
doing it.
that's what just me saying is, you know, yeah, 18 to 25. That's because you are still programmable, you know. So I mean, that's kind of what he's saying right there.
And you're right, just me. Veterans are a different breed of human.
They're all
That's why
crazy.
so
I'm just
many
kidding.
that's why so many veterans are doing exactly what I'm doing. They're still serving their country, but they're trying to do it in a nonviolent atmosphere. They're out here driving trucks. I'd say 75% of the people I know out here are veterans in trucks.
That wouldn't surprise me, to be honest with you, at all. At all.
And they all want to know where I served. I've never served. I promise you, I've never served. I'm a military brat. Okay?
I wasn't even a military brat.
We didn't have family reunions. We had family skirmishes. Okay? Our parents didn't break up the fight. They just sat back and say, okay, let's see who's going to win this time.
Well, I can't say that happened too many. Well, I don't have too many family reunions anymore, but most of the time our family reunions, everybody lived around us anyway, so didn't really need a reunion, just needed a barbecue or something. So
you know, we've had a great show tonight.
yeah, it's almost over. Gosh.
Yeah, that hour just flew by. And I'm going to tell you what, I appreciate each and every one of you who joined us here. And I think we got an outtake video.
I think
Maybe.
we do too. Once again, I didn't realize it was this late. So get up there, get up.
I didn't realize it was either. But, you know, to Trucker Mike, the mother trucker, I'm going to say thank you.
Very much so. That's just awesome.
Thank you for
I mean,
making it real, bringing all this information to light. Thank
And
you. And to all my brothers and sisters out there in trucks.
And he
Whether
said
related or
multiple
not.
times. He said multiple times that he didn't like calling the cops on anybody. But he was like, and I don't think it was on that video, but I think it was on another one that he
Well,
posted.
you never know. I would rather call the cops and save innocent lives. And
Yeah, that's what he was saying at the end, but he didn't want to call the cops. He's like, I don't call the cops. And looking at him, I think he's probably Hispanic or something like that. Well, I could see why you wouldn't want to call the cops on people driving anyway, because for one thing, that's probably going to be a waste of time and a waste of your time as well.
Well, you can get a lot of trouble for making a false report.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You can. But nowadays, if you don't say something, somebody's child may be lost forever.
Well, I'll say this much.
And it's not just for tiny children, it's for adults as well, teenagers.
I'll say this much about him is I love the fact that he said those cops swarmed them like he said they did. So I'm really happy to say I'm glad they did. But here's our outro video. This is what's his name? The Hustle
Bitch.
I have some
Hustle Bitch. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Jasmine.
And then he also says you were between the Hatfields and McCoys. So
yeah, probably related to them too.
But let's watch this video real quick on Maui.
Yep.
Random thoughts in my mind that I just want to get out. As I record this, I'm not sure if I'll actually upload it, so it may just be trashed, but here we go. I've been reporting and updating you all on the Maui massacre for the past 3 weeks, and I want to ask something. Since then, how much have we seen that we would never find anywhere else? Scary, isn't it? And sadly, that's just the tip of the iceberg around one terrible tragedy. How many others have there been this month, this year, this decade? Stop for a second. And which ones pop into your mind? Which images are still burned into your brain? How much has been hidden from us, covered up? You know, as children, we're taught to think outside of the box. Yet as adults, we have fingers pointed at those dare to question what's being fed to them, labeled as a conspiracy theory if anyone presents any factual alternatives and brings them to the table with good intentions, only to help solve the puzzles with the pieces that are being tossed to us by those who we know are behind it all. I can tell you one thing: if all of us are considered tinfoil hat heads, I will gladly accept that as a compliment and as a badge of honor. If that's what separates sheep from wolves, then so be it. I would much rather have all of you intelligent thinkers behind me than anyone else. And just know that I got your back as well. We need more people like you in this world. You are not wrong for using your brain to question everything. That does not make any of us weird, crazy, or any other label you want to slap on it. It means we're using logic and reason to assess and determine a reasonable explanation for what's happened, since the people in charge clearly do not want to do that properly. Your gut is right. You know it. Deep down, we all know it. We know there are unimaginable things taking place in today's world that we don't want to admit are happening, we don't want to come to terms with, because we're good people and we believe in a good world. But sadly, they are. And they will continue unless there's a major change, and that won't be easy. If you could only see what I'm up against to bring you these videos, it's just another thing you wouldn't believe. Many of you have already experienced the magical unsubscribing from this channel or the shadow banning when searching for it. And that's nothing. It's just me here by myself every day, researching, writing, filming, editing, uploading, doing as much as I can to provide you with hidden information that I believe you need to see for yourself, so that you can make an educated decision for yourself as to what's really happening. It's what I can do to contribute to the start of change. You can also do something. You already have. You're taking the time to allow what I present to you on these videos to break through the chatter and programming out there, and you can feel the emotional outrage that is prompting you for change. Simply by not accepting the status quo, you're already a conduit for change. Now, I don't know exactly how to get there, but I do know if there's enough of us who admit the system as we know it is completely destroyed and needs to be rebuilt from the ground up, that along with some unity, and we can give it hell. We can give it all we got. I know. We're tired, we're sad, we're angry, but we must learn to channel that into a propellant that launches us forward together. All this fighting needs to stop. People over politics. Who cares if someone of the other party has a different opinion? Everyone does. That's what makes humans unique. But there must be a point of acceptance, to accept someone's different viewpoint and to still be brotherly and work together for the greater good of this world. In the end, none of this will matter. Our time here is limited. We don't have much left, and we need to use it now to force the change we all know we want and need to see. I get it. This is heavy stuff, but when is enough enough? Aren't you sick and tired of being sick and tired of it all? Aren't you tired of complaining about how bad everything has become? Folks, it's time to stand up. This is your country. This is our country. We're family. This is our home, where we live. It's time to make where we live, our environment, a good one. No, a great one. A life worth living in happiness and peace. All of this death and destruction, lies, misinformation, and cover-up, it's just completely and totally unacceptable. And that word, unacceptable, means we will no longer accept it. All right, I don't know where I'm going with all of this, but if you're seeing this still, that's my rambling for the day. And I thank you for taking the time to listen. If you feel like this, if you feel like me, let me know, because I have more thoughts like this that I'd love to share with you so that we can have an ongoing conversation about it. That way it doesn't just disappear after our attention is diverted to the next massacre. Thank you again for taking the time to watch this, and please take care.